In the darkest corners of history, there are mysteries that refuse to die. Real cases so twisted, so haunting, that they claw at the minds of investigators, daring them to find answers that may never come. These are stories of people who vanished without a trace, killers who slipped through the cracks, and deaths that defy everything we think we know. Tonight, we're unraveling three true unsolved mysteries that still send shivers down the spines of those who've tried to solve them. A medical student steps into a crowded bar and is never seen again. A serial killer carves a path of terror through a city, leaving only questions. And a woman's burned body in a remote valley hides a secret life that no one can crack. These aren't just tales to scare you, they're real, and they might make you lock your doors tonight. So, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and step into the shadows with us. But be warned, the truth can be more terrifying than any nightmare. While you're watching, comment "I'm ready to join us on this chilling journey." Let's dive into the darkness together. It's April 1st, 2006, in Columbus, Ohio, and spring break is in full swing. The Ugly Tuna Saloona, a popular bar near Ohio State University, is packed with students ready to let loose. Neon signs glow, music blasts, and the air hums with energy. In the middle of it all is Brian Schaffer, a 27-year-old medical student with a bright future ahead. At 6'2", with a warm smile and a knack for making everyone laugh, his friends call him the life of the party. But by the end of this night, Brian would vanish without a trace, leaving behind a mystery that still baffles investigators today. Brian was in his second year of med school, dreaming of becoming a doctor. But life hadn't been easy lately. Just weeks earlier, his mother had passed away from cancer, a loss that hit him hard. Still, that night, he seemed upbeat, planning a romantic trip with his girlfriend Alexis. He'd joined his friend Clint for a night of bar hopping, and by midnight, they landed at the Ugly Tuna. To everyone around him, Brian was just another guy enjoying spring break. No one could have predicted that this crowded, lively bar would be the last place he'd ever be seen. Around midnight, Brian and Clint settled into the Ugly Tuna, blending into the sea of students. They drank, laughed, and soaked in the chaos. At 1:55 a.m., security cameras captured Brian outside the bar, chatting briefly with two women near the entrance. He appeared relaxed, maybe even flirting. Then, he turned and walked back inside, climbing the escalator to the bar's main floor. That moment, frozen on grainy footage, is the last confirmed sighting of Brian Schaffer. By 2 a.m., when the bar closed, he was gone. The Ugly Tuna had one public exit, covered by cameras, but Brian never appears leaving. It was as if he'd evaporated in the middle of a packed bar. When Clint realized Brian wasn't outside at closing time, he assumed his friend had gone home. But Brian's phone was off, and his nearby apartment was empty. No signs of activity, no clothes missing, nothing. His friends and family reported him missing the next day, and police descended on the Ugly Tuna. They scoured every inch of the bar, from the bathrooms to the storage rooms, even checking nearby construction sites and the Olentangy River. Nothing. Not a single trace of Brian. The CCTV footage was their best hope, but it only deepened the mystery. Every patron leaving the bar that night was accounted for, except Brian. How could someone just disappear in a room full of people? Investigators interviewed over 50 patrons and staff, hoping for a clue. A bartender recalled Brian seeming distracted later that night, as if something was on his mind, but she couldn't pinpoint why. Clint, Brian's friend, was questioned extensively, but his story held up. He'd lost track of Brian in the crowd. Police explored every angle. Could Brian have slipped out a service exit not covered by cameras? The bar's layout made it unlikely, as staff monitored those doors. Could he have been abducted inside the bar? There were no signs of a struggle, no witnesses to anything unusual. Some even wondered if Brian had walked away from his life, overwhelmed by grief or stress. But his bank accounts remained untouched, his car was still parked, and he'd been making plans with Alexis. A voluntary disappearance just didn't fit. As the investigation stalled, a disturbing detail emerged. In 2007, someone posted a message on a memorial website for Brian, claiming, "Brian is alive." The IP address was untraceable, and police dismissed it as a cruel hoax, but it sent chills through Brian's family and friends. Could someone know more than they were letting on? Theories began to spiral. Was there a predator in the bar that night, blending into the spring break chaos? Some pointed to other mysterious vanishings in Ohio, wondering if there was a pattern. Others speculated a tragic accident, like Brian falling into a construction site, went unnoticed. But with no body, no crime scene, and no answers, every theory hit a dead end. Nearly 2 decades later, Brian Schaffer's disappearance remains one of the most perplexing cases in Ohio history. The CCTV anomaly, Brian entering the Ugly Tuna but never exiting, defies logic, haunting investigators who've pored over the footage countless times. His family still holds out hope, keeping his face on missing posters, but the Ugly Tuna Saloona, now closed, holds its secrets tight. Was Brian taken? Did he vanish by choice? Or is the truth something we can't even imagine? How could someone disappear from a bar full of people? What's your theory on Brian Schaffer? Whatever happened, one thing is certain. The night of April 1st, 2006, swallowed Brian whole, and it's never given him back. Cleveland, Ohio, in the mid-1930s, is a city on its knees. The Great Depression has left thousands jobless, and along Kingsbury Run, a desolate ravine cutting through the city's heart, shantytowns house the desperate and forgotten. It's a place where hope goes to die, and where a killer begins to hunt. In September 1935, 2 boys stumble across a horrifying sight in the Run. 2 male torsos, headless, cleanly dismembered with surgical precision. The Cleveland torso murderer, later dubbed the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run, has claimed his first known victims, and a reign of terror is about to grip the city. The discovery sends shockwaves through Cleveland. The victims, both drifters, are unidentifiable without their heads, and their bodies are drained of blood, suggesting a killer with chilling expertise. Over the next 3 years, the torso murderer strikes again and again, claiming at least 12 lives, though some believe the count is higher. His targets are often the city's most vulnerable: drifters, sex workers, people who could disappear without much notice. Each body is found decapitated, dismembered, sometimes mutilated, left in plain sight as if the killer wants to be seen. This isn't just murder, it's a gruesome performance, and Cleveland is the stage. In 1936, the killer escalates. A woman's torso is found stuffed in a basket near a railroad, her head and limbs missing. The press dubs her the Lady of the Lake, and panic spreads. A year later, in 1937, parts of Edward Andrassy, a 28-year-old drifter, are scattered across Kingsbury Run, his torso sliced with terrifying precision. The killer's taunts grow bolder. Some remains are dumped near City Hall, as if mocking the police's inability to catch him. Unlike other serial killers, the torso murderer doesn't hide his work. He displays it, daring the city to stop him. And in Cleveland, fear becomes a way of life. The investigation falls to Elliot Ness, the legendary lawman who took down Al Capone. But this case is different. Ness, known for his relentless pursuit, is stumped. Police comb Kingsbury Run, raiding shantytowns and questioning dozens of suspects. One name rises to the top: Dr. Francis Sweeney, a troubled surgeon with a history of alcoholism and mental instability. Sweeney's medical knowledge fits the killer's surgical cuts, and he fails multiple lie detector tests. Yet with no hard evidence, Ness can't charge him. Another chilling detail emerges. Many victims' heads are never found, suggesting the killer keeps trophies or destroys evidence with meticulous care. Was this the work of a doctor, a butcher, or something even darker? By 1938, Ness grows desperate. In a controversial move, he orders Kingsbury Run's shanty towns burned to the ground, hoping to flush out the killer or disrupt his hunting ground. The fires light up the night, but the murders don't stop immediately. A new torso is found months later, taunting Ness's failure. Theories swirl. Was Dr. Sweeney, the mad butcher, protected by his connections or cleverness? Could it have been a transient worker slipping through Cleveland's chaos, or perhaps a wealthy figure hiding behind a respectable facade? Some even wonder if the killer was a woman, given the lack of physical struggle in the crimes. But every lead crumbles, and the case grows colder. In late 1938, the killings mysteriously stop. Did the killer die? Was he locked away for another crime? Or did he simply move on? In 1939, a dismembered body in Pittsburgh raises suspicions of a connection, but the trail goes cold. The Cleveland torso murderer's identity, motive, and true victim count remain a black hole. The surgical precision, the missing heads, the sheer audacity of the crimes point to a mind both brilliant and depraved, one that evaded justice completely. Even today, cold case teams and amateur sleuths pore over the files, and DNA tests on victim remains have led nowhere. The Mad Butcher's shadow still looms over Cleveland, a ghost that refuses to rest. The Cleveland torso murderer left a trail of horror, but their face and their reasons remain hidden in the city's shadows. Was it Sweeney, a drifter, or someone we've never even considered? The files are still out there, waiting for someone to crack them. But be careful, the deeper you go, the darker it gets. In November 1970, Bergen, Norway, is a quiet coastal city caught in the tense undercurrents of the Cold War. Tucked away from the bustling streets lies the Isdalen Valley, a remote hiking spot known for its stark, almost otherworldly beauty. On November 29th, a hiker and his daughters make a chilling discovery. A woman's body, badly burned, lies among the rocks, surrounded by charred belongings. Her hands are raised, as if shielding her face from the flames, a haunting image that will linger in the minds of investigators. The police arrive expecting a tragic accident, but what they uncover is no ordinary case. This is the mystery of the Isdal woman, a puzzle that hints at a life cloaked in secrecy. The crime scene is unlike anything Bergen's police have seen. The woman's body is scorched by an accelerant, likely gasoline, and her fingerprints have been deliberately sanded off, erasing her identity. Scattered around her are strange clues: a melted plastic bottle, a few pieces of jewelry, and a watch with its hands removed, as if time itself was stripped away. The fire destroyed most evidence, but the scene feels staged, deliberate. As police dig deeper, they find no immediate ID, no missing persons report, nothing to say who she was. What they do find, however, is a trail of secrets that suggests this woman lived a life hidden from the world. The investigation uncovers a web of deception. The woman had checked into multiple Bergen hotels under aliases: Genevieve Lancier, Claudia Tielt, Elizabeth Leenhofer, among others, using fake passports from Belgium, Germany, and beyond. At a train station locker, police find 2 suitcases she left behind, filled with wigs, non-prescription glasses, and cryptic coded notes written in a meticulous hand. An autopsy reveals even more. She had swallowed 50 to 70 sleeping pills, enough to suggest self-deletion or a forced-over ghost. Her dental work, with unique gold fillings, points to origins outside Norway, possibly Central Europe. every clue deepens the mystery, painting a picture of a woman who didn't want to be known. Police trace her movements across Europe, piecing together sightings in Paris, Stuttgart, Oslo, and Bergen. Witnesses describe her as elegant, multilingual, and always on edge, often requesting room changes or checking out abruptly. A hotel clerk in Bergen recalls her saying, "I'm being followed," but the claim is unverified, a whisper lost in the case's fog. The coded notes, partially deciphered, map her travels, dates and places, but reveal no name or purpose. Theories swirl. Was she a Cold War spy, entangled in espionage, a criminal fleeing justice, or a woman running from a dangerous past? The sleeping pills and burned evidence suggest she knew her end was coming, but whether by her hand or another's remains a question no one can answer. 55 years later, the Isdal woman's identity, her purpose, and her killer, if there was one, remain a void. In 2017, DNA tests narrowed her origins to Central Europe, but no match has been found. The case has inspired podcasts, a 2018 NRK documentary, and countless amateur investigations, yet every lead ends in shadow. Her aliases, her codes, her erased fingerprints, they all point to a life designed to disappear. Could she have been a spy caught in a deadly Cold War game? Or was she running from something or someone else? Share your theory in the comments. What do you think the Isdal woman was hiding? The secrets she carried burned with her in that valley, and her true story remains a ghost slipping through history's grasp. The mysteries we've uncovered tonight: Brian Schaffer's impossible vanishing from a crowded bar, the Cleveland torso murderer's gruesome trail of headless bodies, and the Isdal woman's secret life burned away in a Norwegian valley, remind us that some truths are locked in shadows beyond our reach. These real cases haunt not just investigators, but anyone who dares to look closer, leaving us with questions that echo in the dark. If these stories gave you shivers, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.